Imagine if the scariest killer in movie history suddenly got dumped by his own species and moved into emotional rehab. That's Deck, the predator who's tired of killing but too dumb to quit violence. This ain't a hunt. It's an identity crisis, wearing a mask and holding a plasma cannon. I want you to picture one stupid, unforgettable thing. A giant, scarred alien stands on a ridge while ash and metal rain down like the planet's pissing on him. He breathes like a busted engine. His mask is cracked. His trophies rattle like unpaid debts, and he looks smaller than the legend says, raw, pissed off, and somehow heartbreakingly confused. That's Deck. That's Predator Badlands. This movie takes your old monster, tips him over, and makes him ask for directions while he still sprays plasma all over the map. For decades, the Predator has been the perfect macho nightmare. Silent, lethal, thermally enhanced, and every man's fantasy of a problem you solve by punching harder. The classic movies gave us a tidy recipe. Humans scream, Predator hunts, bodies fall, credits roll, everyone feels a little better about being human. This one rips that recipe up like it's a bad menu and cooks something else. Deck isn't a walking death machine who shows up to steal your chest hair. He's an undercooked wannabe warrior with emotional baggage and a vendetta. The film says, what if the monster had feelings and also a drinking problem? And then it doubles down. Deck's clan wants him to be one thing, a killing machine with a proper trophy case and a grin that never stops. They treat honor like a leaderboard and shame like a slow poison. Deck, he's outcast, undertrained, and maybe a little soft around the edges, which in predator culture is basically a death sentence. So he crash lands on a planet that's trying to kill everything, and the whole movie becomes a weird mix of a gladiator story, a buddy comedy gone feral, and a drunken fairy tale. There's no human protagonist to anchor us. That's the trick. We're forced to be inside the skull of a creature we were taught to fear. You get to root for the thing you were supposed to be terrified of. That feels illegal, and it's brilliant. Then Thea shows up. A busted android with corporate glue on her bolts and a mouth that won't shut. She's not human, and she's not Predator. She's an annoying mirror that says the truth like a drunk friend who also happens to have a fusion torch. She's scarred by corporate greed and experiments, and her presence flips the movie into unexpected comedy and maddening sincerity. The chemistry between a grumpy alien who can cut a wolf in half and a jittery synth who cracked jokes through an apocalypse. It's like someone mixed bourbon and rocket fuel and called it narrative genius. They need each other, and that need is both pathetic and fierce. The planet itself is a bastard. Every rock wants you dead. Plants are trying to file restraining orders. The animals are aggressive as hell and bigger than your problems. It's the kind of landscape that makes you reevaluate every life choice that led to this particular stupid mission. Deck's quest is simplish. Find the ultimate opponent, prove himself, and come home with something shiny to impress Dad. But the movie doesn't let him keep it simple. There's clan politics, toxic traditions, and the recurring question, what does honor mean when honor requires you to kill to prove you exist? And because Hollywood never stops trying to complicate things, corporate interests have their sticky fingers everywhere. Thea's backstory hints at labs and boardrooms that treat living beings like prototypes. Those corporate ghosts are part of the movie's low, dirty hum. Profit wants trophies, trophies want blood, and blood fuels more profit. It's a tidy circle of horrible. Deck ends up fighting not just beasts and rivals, but systems that teach violence like a class you can't drop. Here's the good part. By cutting humans out of the primary narrative, the film becomes intimate in a way you didn't expect. The Predator's code, rituals, trophies, blood, starts to read like family rules in a household where therapy is illegal. Deck's failures aren't just his, they're the clan's problem, their blind spot. Watching Deck awkwardly learn empathy is like seeing a Viking take up knitting, ridiculous and oddly moving. There's humor in the discomfort. There's pathos in the awkwardness. There's 1,000 chances for me to say fuck, and I will happily take them. Violence here is less splashy sadism and more consequence. Because there are no human bodies to exploit, the brutality becomes meaningful. When something dies, it hits the story, not the set dressing. A ripped limb is not a spectacle, it's a loss. That's a brave move. The film doesn't hide behind gore to shock you. It asks you to feel the weight of every strike. And when things go sideways, and they do, the reactions are messy. People make dumb choices, allies betray, and nobody gets a tidy redemption arc handed to them on a pillow. The movie refuses to comfort you. It prefers to make you a little uneasy and a lot more engaged. And the movie is funny. I mean, laugh out loud, spit your drink funny. Deck, who's supposed to be all silent menace, mutters to himself in predator throat language like a hungover guy talking out loud in a supermarket. Thea has a ribald sense of timing and a mouth that doesn't understand the concept of pause. There are scenes where Deck tries to be intimidating and ends up looking like an angry cat. There are jokes about trophies, dad issues, and the small community theater of alien politics. The filmmakers lean into the ridiculous and never once apologize for it. That's a rare kind of courage, to make a monster human. The movie swears like a sailor with a PhD in chaos. The film asks, who benefits when killing becomes culture? Who gets to dictate what honor is? Deck's rebellion is not a political revolution. It's an existential shrug. He doesn't wake up and invent a manifesto. He learns that the ritual that made him feel alive is hollow, that trophies are bad therapy, and that being dangerous doesn't require self-abuse. That's the heart of it. A predator deciding not to be a monster is a smaller choice than you think, but it has the scale of a small war. And the ending? It doesn't gift-wrap everything in bow-tied closure. It leaves you with a gnarly bruise of a thought, some victory, some loss, and the smell of smoke at the edge of the credits. Maybe Deck earns a trophy. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he becomes the kind of leader who starts burning old rules in public. Maybe he dies spectacularly while looking heroic and slightly confused. The point is, the movie trusts you to sit with the messy aftermath. That's a relief in an era where so many films rush to satisfy you with fake closure. Listen, there are bits that are ridiculous and perfectly stupid in the best way. There's a creature that looks like it should be on a sticker in a shitty tourist gift shop. There's an awkward dance between pathos and pratfall that sometimes misses and sometimes lands like a brick of pure joy. But the film owns its hits and its flops with a swagger that says, we tried something. It's not just more monster porn for people who miss the 80s. It's a weird little epic that wants to be a sob story and a trashy bar fight at the same time.